There was only one good Tron movie, ladies and gentlemen. Only one. Is this that one? No, not even close. As a matter of fact, this movie is irrefutable proof that a big, huge budget and awesome special effects don't mean jack shit if you don't have a story worth telling. Let's discuss Tron Ares. Tron series has always been about the internet, right? About the web, about the positive things on there, and also the negative things, which is why I thought it would be perfect to talk about NORDVPN. Maintaining your digital privacy is something that a lot of people care about, and in the world of VPNs, NORDVPN stands out and shines higher than most. I've actually been using NORDVPN for a few weeks now at least, and I've been very impressed with the fact that it has not slowed down my internet speed at all, which is very, very good because I pay for that gig speed. I want to keep all of that speed, and NORDVPN is actually not really slowing it down at all. So if you want to save some money on NORDVPN and take control of your online privacy, then check that discount link that I put in the description. Now, jumping back into this movie, I have to be honest, Tron Ares was not high on my list of movies that I absolutely must see for the season. And I think part of the reason is that it's been so long since that previous Tron Legacy movie came out. It took so damn long. And not only did it take way too long, but this movie basically jettisons everything that movie was setting up. That movie ended with some Easter eggs and some cliffhangers, and it seemed like we were moving forward with a story. We kind of had an idea of what to expect, and this movie said, we're not gonna do any of that. As a matter of fact, this movie barely acknowledges the events of that previous movie, and that's a big problem for me. Right from the beginning, it's clear that this movie is taking the lazy approach to its storytelling. We get a ridiculous exposition dump that's supposed to fill us in on everything. It feels very forced, ham-fisted, and not a very creative way to bring us into this world. If you can write your story better, you can get that exposition and that information to the audience in a way that's not literally so cut and dry. This movie literally opens with a montage catching you up on everything, and it just felt very lazy and uninspired to me. Now, one thing I think we can all agree on with Tron Legacy is that movie had an amazing soundtrack. Daft Punk really delivered something that was super catchy. It has that perfect blend of electronic 80s vibe going on, and it really fit perfectly for the world of Tron because that original movie was in the 80s, so the Daft Punk soundtrack to Tron Legacy worked really well. Now, since then, that band has broken up. RIP to Daft Punk. We really do miss you, and I hope you guys get back together. But in lieu of using them, since they're not an option anymore, they decided to use 9 Inch Nails for this movie soundtrack as a way of like advertising. It was a big deal that Daft Punk did the soundtrack for Tron Legacy, and they're kind of trying to sell it again, where we bring in this band, and that's like a big selling, exciting thing, right? 9 Inch Nails, and I actually do like 9 Inch Nails somewhat. I've heard a lot of their stuff in The Bear, and I think that they do have some good stuff, so I was kind of feeling optimistic about them taking over for Daft Punk, but I have to say, this soundtrack really sucked. I did not like it. It was just loud. It didn't have a good flow to it. It really, really let me down and made me miss Daft Punk even more. And I said loud, right? That's how I described the soundtrack. That's how I'd actually describe this entire movie. This whole movie, now bearing I did see this movie in IMAX, so that is probably something to do with it, but you can tell that this movie is just loud. It's going for loud special effects. They're thinking, we're gonna go big, we're gonna go hard with these special effects and these loud booming noises, we're gonna turn this soundtrack up to the loudest level that you can possibly tolerate. It is not a good experience. And this movie has paper-thin characters that are really not even worth rooting for. I didn't care about any of these characters, and that's kind of surprising that you can make a movie with no characters that are interesting. Jared Leto is about as wooden as he's ever been. He's playing a program, so I get that he's supposed to be a little bit devoid of emotion. Robots, after all, programs, they don't feel emotion. But there is times occasionally throughout this movie where he tries to lighten it up and seem a little bit more human, and those scenes were even more awkward. It just did not fit. It was like, okay, what's going on? Why is he suddenly acting? It's like they tried to put a little bit of that Marvel humor in the movie, and it just did not work. It was not a great Jared Leto performance at all. Greta Lee is one of the most interesting characters in the movie, but even her character felt frankly underwhelming. I didn't care that much. She was okay. She drove the story forward. She is the heart and soul of things. But I just didn't really find her character that interesting either. But isn't it a damn shame that the name character, Ares, Ares is the main name of this movie, and Jared Leto is playing that main character, and he's not even interesting. Now, I have to say the biggest standout in this movie is for sure Jodie Turner-Smith. She plays a program named Athena in this movie. This woman was extremely intimidating. She was cold, she was calculated, she was ruthless, she was extremely determined. She had a lot more of those properties that you would expect a robot program to have. Unlike Ares, played by Jared Leto, who was trying a bit too hard to be this thing. This woman, this character, Athena, she was intimidating the entire movie, and I thought she was excellent. Evan Peters does a decent job playing the whiny bitch of a villain. He is the grandson of that villain from that first movie. Wouldn't you know it, that evil just runs in the family. I think it's a little cliche, honestly, that they came back to that they had to make him related to him. It just feels a little bit lazy and uninspired, but I did think he did a good job. I like Evan Peters a lot, and I like seeing him explore different types of roles. I'm glad to see a more mature version of him. I just wish that they hadn't wasted him. He has been wasted a few times in his career, and this movie, again, was another waste of his potential. If you want to see a great Evan Peters performance, go look at Mayor of Easttown on HBO Max, and you'll understand why he is actually a great actor. Visually, this movie looks amazing. Tron has never looked better, and I mean it. The visual effects in this movie are next level, and I thought Tron Legacy looked great. I mean, Tron Legacy compared to that original Tron, we know that original Tron movie looks extremely dated at this point. But with how it's been going with these newer stories in the Tron universe, I have to say, I'm not really feeling overly compelled for them to make another Tron movie. As a matter of fact, if they were to do another Tron movie, I would much rather see a remake of that original movie. That movie with new graphics could be really, really interesting, but it would also be blasphemy and it would get a lot of negative press. And I'm pretty sure Jeff Bridges would hate anybody touching that original movie. My point is, I'm not really sure, based on what I've been seeing from the recent Tron givings since we got that first movie, that there is much legs left in this series. I don't know if I'm really interested in seeing another attempt at it. This movie takes itself way, way too seriously. It loses all that charm and heart that the original movie had. This movie feels like a Nolan copy, but Nolan, maybe like Zack Snyder actually, more like a Zack Snyder version of Tron, except it has color and it's not flushed out and, you know, full of CGI slow motion scenes. It's not like that, but it's just lacking that emotion, that charm that would have made this movie easier to watch. This is not a fun movie. It is extremely serious, extremely drab, and extremely loud. So for me, there's really not a lot to like about this movie. It's definitely one that I think you can skip and watch when it comes to Disney Plus if you didn't cancel it. For me, this movie is a 4 out of 10. It has some redeemable things. Like I said, the visuals look amazing and there are some really cool sequences, but overall, this is not a movie that you need to see in cinemas by any means. Don't spend too much money on this. Stay home and watch Tron Legacy. I think you're going to enjoy it a lot more. That's my thoughts on this movie. What did you guys think of it? If you've seen it, go ahead and put your thoughts on it in the comments and let me know. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you want to hear more things from me, subscribe to this channel. Later.